Hey, how's it going, everyone? We're your host, Grant Cohn, Coach Noah Johnston. And this season has officially gotten weird. The Niners are 2-4. That's not the weird part. I think a lot of reasonable football analysts could have seen this coming. But the fact that Kyle Shanahan so vociferously and strenuously stuck by Jimmy Garoppolo on the conference call yesterday was surprising. I'm surprised considering fans want Trey. Former players seems to me, most people think Trey's the move here, but Kyle's like, nah. So first question, is Trey Lance really this bad? Do you think?
You know what wasn't surprising is, I actually wasn't that surprised that he stuck with Jimmy Garoppolo. That was kind of my expectation. Like, if you look at what he's done in the past, isn't that the Kyle Shanahan move? Like, he's stubborn as hell, and he's
stubborn as hell. That's
right.
That's true. But I mean, like when he's talking about Jimmy's lost 3 in a row. Jimmy played really bad in the rain. He got hurt the game before. I think the insinuation is like, look, guys, you're not here at practice. You think Jimmy's bad. Wait till I put out the 21-year-old quarterback and let him try to run our offense, because you already saw what I trusted him to run against Arizona, and it wasn't much. I think that's the insinuation. And it's just like, first of all, you haven't really given him a chance, Kyle. You already said you've never had an open competition, Kyle. And this guy got 111 snaps because of injury, and actually his quarterback rating is better than Jimmy's. So I asked Kyle point blank, like, how can you be so sure that Jimmy gives you the better chance to win, given that he's lost 3 in a row? And he attacked me straight on the, like, well, you can't attribute losses to a quarterback, which is fine. But he didn't answer the question. Why are you so sure Jimmy gives you the better chance to win? That seems to be what he's going with right here. I'm going with the vet. He gives me the better chance to win, even though we've lost 3 in a row with him. So do you really think that if Lance came in, it would get worse if he was running this offense?
I put it out there on Twitter before. It's like, I thought that they might get the same, probably would get the same thing, or probably have around the same result if Trey Lance played. But to me, that's always been my reason to play Trey Lance.
Exactly.
If you're gonna get the same result, I'd rather just get the same result and get the rookie the experience, and he'll more than likely get better as the season goes on, and you might get a different result in the last 6 weeks, maybe the last 3 weeks of the season, and then prepare for next year. And maybe he would do better if he's out there. I mean, he's certainly going to give you different aspects of the game that Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't give you. Now, is there certain things Jimmy does better? Yeah, but there are some things that, like, Jimmy is just not actually capable of doing.
Look at it this way, Coach. Look at it this way. I mean, Jimmy's had most of the first team reps in camp all off season through the season, in preseason, and his quarterback rating is 90. Yep. Trey Lance didn't get those reps. He came in relief when Jimmy got hurt. His quarterback rating is 88.4, and he runs. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, what if he had gotten all those reps? He actually may improve. Jimmy doesn't improve.
Right, absolutely.
The Niners gaining by play. Yeah. Seems to be the evidence point to Trey being ready.
Yeah, the one game he did play was arguably the best team in football.
And they outgained him. And they lost the game because Kyle Shanahan turned it over on downs 4 times.
Right.
Sorry.
Lance didn't fumble. Lance didn't turn over 3 times. He had 1 turnover. It was a deep throw. It didn't kill them.
He had 1 turnover. Jimmy had 3 last week.
Yeah.
The turnovers were the turnover on downs. That's what really killed him against Arizona.
And he was playing out of position in that game. Yep. He was playing running back.
He was playing running back in that game. They didn't let him go under center where he's averaging 14 yards per attempt. They kept him in the gun where he's averaging 5 yards per attempt. I mean, I feel like Kyle thinks that Niner fans don't get it, that he can kind of like game the system and set things up to make one person look good or one person look not ready, and Niner fans won't notice. But Niner fans are really smart, man. They love football, and they think that they're the smartest fan base, and they know exactly what you're doing, Kyle. So I don't think that Trey's this bad. And I feel like what's weird is most times if a team traded up to number 3 for a quarterback and the incumbent had lost 3 in a row and this guy looked pretty good in the relief, you'd be looking for a reason to insert the young guy. Like, the fan base wants you to do it. Joe Staley wants you to do it. You're the one guy who doesn't want this to happen. That's so weird. Other coaches would be like, well, I mean, we got some good numbers here in a game and a half. I mean, it's a small sample size, but no one will fight me if I do this move. So I'm going to go ahead and do it because it's what I've been wanting to do since I traded up for him. But no. We're supposed to believe that Trey Lance and Brandon Ayuk are just the worst practice players of all time, apparently. I don't know.
Matt Nagy didn't want to do it, and he's done it.
Yeah.
So it's and the thing about it is, I think, myself included, but last year I would have given Kyle the rope to say, okay, I trust him. I trust what he's seeing in practice, and I think if he's saying Trey's not ready, I trust him. I don't trust him now. So
I don't trust him either. And again, how can you even assess that, Kyle? You're assessing it by how he runs the scout team. You've already said you don't give him reps with the starters in practice. And you've already said it's not an open competition. So what I'm hearing is that you've never given Trey a chance to even prove himself. And when he's gotten in the game, despite zero prep and development, he's basically as good or better than Jimmy Garoppolo when you factor in the running. So what are you doing, Kyle? Anyway, Let's move on. Because I have theories. Why Kyle Shanahan stubbornly is sticking with Jimmy Garoppolo. I have a theory. I'm going full tinfoil hat here. You can go your own direction afterwards, but let me just see if I can explain it. This is just a theory, everyone, and this is for fun. But it's been reported. I always go back to it's been reported he wanted Mac Jones by very reputable people. Adam Schefter, Mike Silver. He wanted Mac Jones, and from all reports, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, Jed York, Adam Peters, the whole shebang overruled him. And we're like, look, it's not going to happen with Mac Jones. So find something else. And it seems to me that the reason Kyle liked Mac, he was asked in the pre-draft press conference, why do you like Mac Jones? And he said, because he's a starting quarterback. Well, as opposed to Trey Lance, who's a backup quarterback right now. So why do you like Mac Jones? Because Mac could start right now. And you know what? He's right. Mac's good. If Mac were on this team right now, he'd be starting. He'd be winning. He's good. He's a good player. But he got overruled. And when they said, look, we're not going to go with Mac, so let's find something else. He said, well, maybe I also like Trey Lance. But my thing with Trey Lance is I don't think he's ready. And they're like, okay, no problem. You got Jimmy. Stick with Jimmy. And if he were to pivot and go to Lance and Lance were good and Lance looked ready, that would just mean he's wrong. He was wrong about Lance. And I think what Kyle has shown is that he's 100% committed to being right. 100% committed to being right. And if what he said to the organization was, look, I like Lance, but the reason I prefer Mac Jones is because he's a starting quarterback right now and I want to win right now and I want him. And they're like, sorry, we're not going to do that. You got to take Lance and you got to go with Jimmy. He'll be like, all right, well, Lance isn't ready and I'm not going to put him in a position to prove me wrong. So we're going to ride or die with Jimmy. And if we die, it was your choice. You know I wanted Mac Jones. And every week that Mac Jones looks better and better in New England, I bet Kyle gets a little bit more pissed. Like, I told you. I freaking told you. And this is, again, like in Washington in 2012, you overruled me when I said Kirk was better than RG3. And now, once again, I get overruled, and I'm right. I bet you all that stuff is going on. That's my tinfoil hat theory right now. Is every week he gets a little bit more frustrated about getting overruled by Mac Jones, and he's not about to backtrack and be like, well, actually, Trey is ready. Sorry. Nah, I said he's not ready. I was right. I said Mac Jones is ready. I was right. Does anyone else want to overrule me again in the 40? Who else knows more about me than quarterbacks? Adam, you want to do it? John? That's the way I look at it right now. I mean, this is all private stuff between about 40 people, but 40 very powerful people.
And if you want to add on to that, the other guy that he loves is having a good season too, and Kirk Cousins, right? And they did he get overruled with the Jimmy Garoppolo trade? And he's like, not, a couple years ago, he's like, nah, I want to wait for Kirk. I want to wait for Kirk. And John's like, nah, we got to get this. We got to get this guy. We can get him for a 2, dude. We can get him for a 2. We got to do it. And he was like, all right, so.
If Jimmy Garoppolo were on a 3-game losing streak and Mac Jones hadn't started week 1, he'd be starting right now. He'd be, because Kyle wanted him. But if Kyle was reluctant about Lance and he was like, okay, but only on the condition that you don't force me to play him right away and I'm allowed to start him in year 3 if that's what I think is appropriate. And they said, okay, well, but you got to keep Jimmy because you win with Jimmy. Well, then that's where this whole debacle started, that you created a system that the head coach wasn't even bought in on.
Right. And that's an organizational failure.
Right.
And
I take some responsibility because I was leading the charge on Mac Jones. I'm sorry. I didn't need to do that. He's better than I thought he'd be. My bad.
Listen, that's okay. You could say no on Mac Jones. I mean, he's doing some good things with the Patriots, but you can't judge quarterbacks on 1 year.
And I still would take Trey Lance over Mac Jones. I think
Not only
basically
that,
what I wouldn't have done is trade up to 3. That is a very, very rich move, and it's going to be hard to justify down the line. But I'm just talking about why Kyle is being so stubborn here. And it seems to me that it probably goes back to before the season. He never had a quarterback competition. He doesn't want to let things play out. He knows already. He knows Trey Lance is not ready. He knows Mac Jones is a starting quarterback. He was right about Mac Jones. He's going to make sure he's right about Trey Lance. And that's the way I look at it.
That's their fault because you can't have a head coach that doesn't buy into the quarterback.
One start that Trey Lance got, did they put him in a position to look like he was ready? No, they played him running back. That was his statement to the organization. This is what he's ready to do.
And that's one of the main reasons why if this is what's going on, they got to move on for Kyle. I mean, they've done it.
You can't have a guy working against you, like being a subversive element to your. He says, "Oh, that's the quarter." He said that Trey Lance is the future of the team. No, he's the present, man. I don't know where you think you're going with Jimmy Garoppolo, but I asked him, like, how far out of contention do you have to fall before you play Trey Lance, before you start Trey Lance? And he was like, I think you're asking if I just give players experience for experience's sake. Like, no, I'm asking exactly what I asked, dude. How many games do you have to lose in a row before you go to Trey Lance? It's a real simple question. Why do you think Jimmy Garoppolo gives you the best chance to win? He won't answer these questions, man. So we got to go conspiracy theory because I asked you directly and you were like hemming and hawing like, oh, well, it's not baseball. It's not all about the – okay. All right.
Yeah, but wasn't he asked last year why he started CJ Beathard and he was like, oh, I just thought we needed a spark offense.
The spark complex.
Your offense can use a spark right now.
So what do you think of my tinfoil hat theory? That this is all about him being right about Mac Jones and Trey Lance.
You may very well be right. Yeah, he seemed to have that stubbornness and is built into his personality. And I'm not a tinfoil hat guy, but I think.
Look, all I know is if you know me and people that watch this show know me, I have strong opinions just like Kyle too. But I'm also wrong a lot, like every person is. And I'm the first person to be like, yo, I was wrong about that. And to laugh it off. He's not like that. And maybe he's not in a profession where he can be wrong and laugh it off, but he doubles down on it. I was right about that. Oh, and 10 years ago in Washington, I was right about that. And that one thing that everyone thought that I was wrong about, actually, let's revisit that because I was right about that too. That's Kyle Shanahan's attitude. And I really can't take people like that. People who all they want to do is I was right. Like, dude, no, you're not. You're not. You're not this infallible, godlike, always right person. And if you think you are, you're going to get yourself in trouble, man.
He's that
Wise
Titanic.
people know they're not like that. Wise people know what they don't know.
He's going right through that iceberg. We could do it.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a couple questions real quick. Ivan says, yo, Grant, at this point, I wouldn't mind sending a package for Watson, maybe Jimmy G and Kittle. Oh, boy.
They ain't doing that.
I'm going to stay away from Watson until we get a little more clarity on that situation.
Yeah. I'm not sure that 49ers ownership would approve that. I
wouldn't approve it, man. How you're just gonna go into business with Deshaun Watson and just, like your attitude is like, well, we'll see what happens. I don't know what happens. Give it a shot.
I think the Yorks issued I don't have any information, but I think they probably issued a mandate to personnel that they want guys with clean records on their team.
Never heard Kyle Shanahan him take a blame. It's always some kind of excuse.
Yeah, I'd like to stop there because if you look at that, what's one of the main issues that the 49ers have been having? It's penalties and being undisciplined. The first step to correcting it and stuff is you have to take blame. Like if your head coach isn't taking blame for stuff, why would you do so?
Hey, it's my fault that we have a bunch of penalties. No, like everyone, the one person who can say it's my fault we have penalties is the head coach. Like there's not one player committing all the penalties. There's one coach who's not preventing it from happening. So Carlos said, Kyle, he said something else before that I don't understand what that means. But I'm sorry. Thank you, Grant, for asking the real questions fans wanted asked. Appreciate it. I'm trying, man. Here's the thing about Kyle. Like people are starting to like pressure him, but they ask questions like, do you understand why you're getting these questions? And it's like we're his therapist right now. And then he'll say stuff like, I totally understand this line. I understand why you're asking me these questions. I understand why. It's like, I don't need you to understand why we're asking these questions. I need you to answer the questions satisfactorily, and you're not. He's acting like he's so big right now. I get it, dude. You are 8 games under 500. You have a worse winning percentage than Norv Turner. Stop talking like you're this multiple-time champion who's going through a rough stretch and is being gracious with his patience. Like, nah, man, just answer the questions. Just answer the questions.
Do you think maybe he merges his father's record with his?
I don't know what, dude. He really said this. They're like, Eric Branch was like, do you understand why Peter not getting the same excuses in year 5 that you got beforehand? Do you understand why fans are kind of fed up? And he's like, look. I understand. No. He was trying to be so like big. He was like, look, when John Lynch and I came here in 2017, I mean, we knew we had a tough. I mean, I don't want to say we were expecting to lose. You never expect to lose, but we knew we had a monumental task. And so when we got to the Super Bowl in year 3, we were a year ahead of schedule. That was a year ahead of our plan. We were proud of that. And so the next year we tried to run it back. He really said that. We were trying to run it back. Dude, you lost the Super Bowl, man. There's no running it back. They talk like making the Super Bowl makes you a Super Bowl team. No, winning the Super Bowl makes you a Super Bowl team. So he said, we tried to run it back, and then there was COVID, and this season isn't over. That's where his mindset is, that they basically won the Super Bowl in 2019. Right. Weird stuff happened, and this season isn't over yet. So get off my back. That's his attitude right now. He's the most disconnected head coach from reality in the NFL right now. By far, dude, he is in freaking La La Land. I have no idea where he is right now.
Right. He doesn't feel that he is not reading the temperature of the room at all.
Dude. No, he's making these little side comments in press conferences. Like he's got the fan bases. Like the fan base has his back. They don't, dude. You're on an island and you don't care, or you don't notice. I don't know.
I mean, maybe he knows something that we don't. Maybe he knows that he's got the golden ticket with York. I don't know.
Or a golden parachute somewhere else. Easy Tino says Harbaugh did. Easy Tino says, Kyle, rule number 1, do no harm. The kid has sprained a finger and a knee. Now, thanks to inept coaching, I lean on Kyle. Has a bias, and I'll leave it at there. Dang, man. See, we're all going tinfoil hat right now. I think we got one more, and then we'll go back to the show. Are we ever going to see these plays Kyle Shanahan drew up for Trey? Banana Hands is going down with the ship. He could care less if he gets fired. He gets paid. I think him and Jimmy are going down together, which is so interesting. And I think those plays don't exist. And, if he does get fired, he would essentially get a big pay raise because he would get hired somewhere else and he would get paid by both teams the entirety. I mean, there wouldn't be offset. There wouldn't be prorated or anything. So I don't know. Maybe that's his play here. I don't have any potential. I don't know where he would go. Grant, keep asking him the hard questions. Why doesn't anyone bring up Lance almost beating the Cardinals in his first start? All upside.
I mean, I know people on YouTube bring it up all the time. And all the 49ers content creators, they bring it up.
I'm just saying, if a coach who wanted Lance could use any number of things to justify starting him. He almost beat the Cardinals. His quarterback, his QBR is higher than Jimmy's. Jimmy's lost 3 in a row. It's so easy. The fans want Lance. It's easy. What's hard is sticking with Jimmy Garoppolo, and what's puzzling is sticking with Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's why we just spoke for 15 minutes trying to go full tinfoil hat. And I think that's the only way to get close to the truth here. And it's not super tinfoily hat. I'm using reports from Adam Schefter and Mike Silver. I mean, it's tinfoil hat to say that Kyle Shanahan wanted Trey Lance all along. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
isn't it possible?
But it doesn't look like it now.
Isn't it possible that Kyle was right? Jones was ready and Lance isn't. Lance looks absolutely lost anytime he's asked to actually play quarterback. Well, I think it's possible he was right about Mac Jones, but he hasn't given Lance a chance.
Yeah, right.
He hasn't given Lance a chance. Hasn't. And I almost feel like he's doing that because for exactly what Joshua was saying.
How do you know? Right. You don't know. You don't know that if Lance played from week 1, you don't know that he could be an MVP. Like a rookie of the year candidate right now. You don't know that.
Lance has, as I said earlier, higher QBR than Jimmy, considering, and Jimmy had all the prep. What if Lance had the prep? Nathan says Banana Hand still thinks it's 2019 vibe with Jimmy. Yup. All Kyle had to do was make this a quarterback competition. Yeah, man. All you had to do was let it play out and not pretend like you always can predict the future. But no, that's too much for Kyle. Why would you do that? Kyle secretly talking to his friend Elway. I mean, what's so great about Denver? Why would you want to go to Denver? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to have to start thinking about what the ace up Kyle's sleeve is. All right. Why Shanahan's quarterback opinions are unreliable. I just want to point this out real quick, and maybe you can go this a different direction, but he's basically telling us, look, trust me on this. Jimmy's my best quarterback. Jimmy is better than Trey at this point. Trust me. Man, this is the same dude who was like, you know what? Yeah, sure, Tom Brady's better than Jimmy, but not that much better. So we're going to stick with Jimmy. That's the same guy who was like, you know what? Yeah, Patrick Mahomes looks decent, but we're going to just chill and wait for Kirk Cousins. This is his track record. This guy gave CJ Beathard a 3rd-round grade. Why are we taking him at face value? Why are we just accepting his opinions of his quarterbacks? And he's like, yeah, Jimmy's the best one. Trust you. I don't know about that, man.
It's not just Mahomes. It was. I know this guy has
also a very good football player when he's allowed to play football.
Right, is Deshaun Watson? There was nobody saw a red flag. There weren't any red flags of those nature at that point in time. So
the Republic,
off of, if you looked at character issues and then what in his play, he was. I thought that he should have been the pick at the time.
Won the national championship. He was a Heisman guy, right? I mean, what more did he need to do?
Exactly. So they missed on, and it's not for me. It's never like one singular thing. They had multiple shots, or Kyle had multiple shots at a quarterback. You had Mahomes, available. You had Watson available. Then Brady fell into your lap. Now this year, I don't know we'll see how it's going to play out. Who's going to be the best quarterback in that class? But outside of the first two, you had your pick, like whether it's Lance or any of those guys. You had your pick a little there. So they've had plenty of options to get it right. Like, it's been 5 years, right?
Yeah. I just want to point out that I don't think really many people take Kyle Shanahan's word at face. I mean, I don't think really he has much support anymore. But if you're one of these guys that are like, look, Kyle knows better than you. Kyle's a head coach. Kyle's at practice. You're not. Kyle says Jimmy's the guy. That must mean Trey's really, really not ready, dude. This is the same guy who didn't want Tom Brady, who was approached by Brady himself, was like, let's do this. And he was like, I'm going to watch your most recent season of tape and only that. And I'm going to base my decision off of that. And I'm going to make the wrong decision. So let me get back to you in a week. And I'm going to let you down. I'm going to say, it's not you, it's me. And you're going to go win a Super Bowl in Tampa and make more money because there's no state income tax there. And it'll work out great for you, not great for me. But don't worry. Don't worry. It may feel like a disappointment at first, but it's going to be in your interest. And I'm just going to do what I do, which is make bad decisions. Anyway, Kyle.
I think there's a few teams that could have or would have turned down Brady, but like I said, it's not the Brady. For me, it's not the Brady incident alone. It's that he had multiple shots at getting one. Didn't even bother looking at Mahomes, right? Didn't even wasn't really concerned with watching the tape with those guys. Like, he was focused on Kirk. Didn't even look, right? Like, he said it. He said, to be honest,
he wasn't interested in Justin Fields. He was drawing a place for Trey Lance after Justin Fields. Not interested in Justin Fields. He could lose to Justin Fields this weekend, and we're going to talk about that. So, yeah. And
to compound it, in that draft, you drafted Solomon Thomas. So, like, if they in that draft and you didn't get your quarterback, but you drafted a really good player, like, it makes it a little better. But obviously it's a quarterback league. It's just compounded by your option was that. Bless you.
Thanks. I don't know what happened.
And on top of that, you probably could have gotten a first-round pick for Jimmy had you went with Brady.
True. But that was then, and this is now. All right, let's move on. The complete list of 49ers busts. Every week, it seems like there's a new player you can add to the list. Like, man, his career is going down. Like, in all levels of the organization. So why don't we just, you say a name, I say a name, and see how far we can get before we run out of bus. And anyone in the comment section, go for it. Real quick, before we start, Keldon says, Grant, Denver is one of the Rodgers teams. So the conspiracy theory would be Rodgers and Kyle meet up in Denver the way they couldn't do it this year. Is Rodgers really going to leave Green Bay? I mean,
wait, is Rodgers going to leave? But hold on. Is Rodgers going to leave? Would Rodgers really want that? He's already has issues with this coach. Like, you think him and Kyle are gonna?
Yeah. Why is everyone aren't people looking at Kyle a little differently these days? Anyway, the complete list of 49ers busts.
Wait. Can hold on before you go. I'm just going to say real quickly. I think what Rodgers probably needs the defensive head coach, because just let Rodgers do his thing on offense and let him have an offense coordinator that he's friendly with, and then I'll let the head coach handle the defense. Rodgers, you do your thing on offense.
Or a coach like Arians who's like, you just do everything. I don't care.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what Rodgers wants. He wants the Brady treatment. He sees himself as every bit Brady's equal, and he should get the Brady treatment. So go get it, dude. You're not going to get it from Kyle, though. I'm just telling you. You're going to get it from someone who's wise, someone in his 60s, someone who understands that winning is better than winning your way. Who cares how you freaking win? Arians' stock is higher than Kyle's because Arians took his freaking ego out of it and Kyle didn't. End of story. Wisdom. All right, the complete list of 49 busts. You go first, I'll go next, and then we'll go back and forth.
Your boy Pettis.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about guys on the team, like in the organization right now. It's easy to say Solomon Thomas, of course, but let's say like the ones that are a little more painful, like guys on the freaking team right now. Why they're a bust.
Samson Ebukam, I looked up. He had he's had one pressure the entire year.
That's a great one. D Ford. Given what they gave up to get him and what they're paying, my God, bust. D Ford.
This one's gonna hurt for me because I've been a big supporter of him, but Kinlaw.
Oh, there's no question. He's a medical bust. He's never really been able to show what he could do at 100%. And I feel for him. Not his fault. He didn't conceal the injury. The Niners picked him at 13 or whatever, 14. That's on them. Bust.
There's not really a way for me to prove this out, but I do think that if his knee been fine, I think he would have been a player. But
it looks like he has all the gifts, but he didn't. They knew it. They made a bad mistake. Medical bust.
Correct.
I'm trending that direction. He's not a bust yet, but boy, he's trending that direction. He has fewer catches this year than Dante Pettis, who you called a bust. So I think we're going to have to put him on the bust section for now. I'm saying Brandon Ayuk, and I like it, Ayuk, but whew. Sorry. Let's keep going. I don't want to argue about it.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes, correct. Easy one. I'm going to say a hard one. George Kittle. Not before the second contract, but since the second contract, bust. He's gotten a ton of money to do, counting the contract, the signing bonus, to do not a lot of much, not on air, nada. So Kittle.
This one's gonna hurt too because I thought he would have a good season, really help them, but Alex Mack.
Alex Mack is the worst offensive lineman on the team. Aaron Banks, unless he hasn't gotten a fair shot. But I'm just they're telling me they think he's a bust at this point, which is rough.
I mean, if you want to go with that, you could say the entire 2021.
Okay, that's fine. The entire rookie class. Yeah, I'd have to say so. Trey Sermon, Diamador, apparently, Ambry Thomas, not Jalen Moore. But everyone else, let's keep going. I'm not done. I'm not even close to done. John Lynch. John Lynch right now looks worse than Trent Baalke.
But
Baalke had some hits.
I don't know that John Lynch does anything.
That's fair. That's fair. And
I
that's
think
another reason he's the best, because the only thing he's supposed to do is talk. And now when he talks, it's like he can't even make the Niners look good when he talks anymore. He's constantly saying the wrong thing. Anyway, John Lynch.
I think John. Were you going to organizational busts? We said Kittle, Brunskill. They've done nothing.
Mike McDaniel
at that right guard position for.
What a debut for Mike. I don't know what he's he's in charge of, but on his resume, became the offensive coordinator in 2021. Offense tanked. It was the McDaniel effect.
This seems to be like a reoccurring theme, right? Is like there's guys in positions that we don't know what they do, and we're not sure that they do anything because the too much power flowing to one man.
Kyle. And so the final bust that I can think of is Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan, year 5, I think his supporters thought he'd be winning. I think a lot of his critics thought he'd be winning. I thought he'd win 10 games. He would have to go 8-3 down the stretch to finish 10-7 this year. This is looking like another losing season, if not like a bad losing season. He's in the middle of a 4-game losing streak, and he could lose to the Bears this week. The freaking Bears, who are averaging 14 points a game. So I'm going to say Kyle is in the bust section right now. They gave him an extension, dude. They gave him a freaking extension.
They gave him an extension, Lynch an extension. They gave Jimmy his contract.
Like, I'm not even going to say Eric Armstead, who I wouldn't have paid. But you know what? I mean, he hasn't missed a game since he got hurt, since he got paid. He's out there being exactly who he is. I always felt that contract year was a mirage, dude. He was the 4th best pass rusher. He's a great 4th pass rusher. On this team, he's a number 2 pass rusher. That's Buckner. That's not you. So not his fault. Not necessarily a bust. Just overestimated again by the Niners.
I think he's overpaid, but he's not overpaid on the level Jimmy Garoppolo overpaid. Like
no. When he's not letting the quarterback get out of the pocket, he's a plus player. He's a plus player.
And I'm not sure he's used the right way. I think he's on the edge too much.
He should be like a 3-4 defensive end with an outside linebacker taking contained, responsibility, not him. That's what
I don't know that he can't play defensive tackle. I watched some reps this year where he's playing and he takes on the double team. And
I see what you're saying. Yeah. In theory, a 6'7" dude isn't a good fit at 3 tech because you can kind of take out his legs from the side and stuff like that. But you've never really given him a chance. And it's not like these squattier dudes are doing any better. Right? I mean, is Kentavious Street so stout in the middle that I don't know. Anyway.
You can't tell him in the offseason to put on weight.
Let's answer a few more questions. We got about 10 minutes left, and I got to go. Niners trade Lance and a 24 first for Watson. Man. No. I'm going to stay away from Watson for now until I get a little more clarity is the word. Look like Kyle tried to RG3 Lance crash dummy versus AZ. Isn't it troubling how many fans feel that way? And you just don't know. That's why I'm getting the heebie-jeebies about Kyle right now, man. If you're doing anything like this, they need to fire you for cause. Like if you wrote this in an email, they would fire you for cause. It's the kind of thing that you could never say. You couldn't even speak it over the phone. It's to be like Casino speaking in code. Hey, we're gonna meet up at bring the ZD. Like you can't even think it. It's so bad if this is happening. So I'm not going to accuse him of it because it's fire for cause type stuff.
Right. Or should be.
Yeah. Kyle and Jimmy's career are suddenly parallel. Both are more average than people thought, but over time, fans figured them out. The book is out on both. They are going down together. They deserve each other. This is exactly how I feel. They are going down together. They've been basically in this arranged relationship for 4 years. They've been fighting, bickering nonstop, pointing the finger at each other in couples therapy, and they're essentially both going to get dumped by the couples therapist. Like, you know what? You're both out. There's no saving this relationship. You both have to go.
And they both got all this praise for being awesome, and really they're probably mediocre to bad.
Yeah, and they got all this praise for being awesome because one guy's really handsome and the other guy has a brand for a last name. Why is no one and Jimmy G, that's a brand too. They both have these guys with brands. Can we stop bringing in guys with brands, coaches with brands, quarterbacks with brands? Just bring in coaches and players. The brand thing is killing me, man.
The
brand thing. Even Harbaugh was a brand. Gruden's a brand. Just bring in a coach, man. A coach. Yeah. Why is no one connecting the Brady quote from the summer, sticking with that MFer? Obviously, Jimmy G. How do we trust anything after that? Yeah, agree.
Yeah, it was definitely Jimmy.
Obviously Jimmy. I think that's the last one. Sorry. Hold on. Nope.
I mean, just to piggyback on top of that, especially with what came out with Martellus Bennett and all that, and
that's what the Patriots thought of him. That was their secret. They didn't say it because they needed to trade him for a second-round pick, and they did. But that's the secret. Trade Kittle and Warner for first-rounders. Not Warner.
No.
Maybe Warner? No, not Warner.
I'm not sure
you can't keep trading away the leaders. I'm sorry. He's the leader.
I'm not sure you can get a first. I'm not sure you can get a first for Kittle. And why would you want to trade Warner? Warner's still good.
And Rich Gangarello and Jalen Hurd are busts too. Oh yeah, Jalen Hurd, Rich Gangarello. Yep. Wes Welker. Who do the Niners hire if Shanahan is let go?
There's a bunch of guys out there. I mean, there's Dabble, Brian Dabble. I think one of the guys on the people always talk about Lincoln Riley, but a name to keep an eye on in the college ranks is Matt Campbell. He's the head coach at Iowa State. He's highly thought of in NFL circles. Iowa, they're not going to a major bowl game, but Iowa State is not a heavy program, and they were not. They had like one win. They had like 1-win seasons, and he turned it around. Respectable program now.
Okay. Sorry, Jay Boogie. All right, last two topics. What Jed York needs to do to protect the franchise? Tell me. Break it down.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of talk about trading everything away. I think he has to put his foot down, and if first of all, he knows what his kind of plans are, and if it's ever in his mind to fire York and Kyle. I don't know if can they do anything this year if he in his mind he's saying it's not possible. They no matter what they do, they're not getting fired. Then I guess this wouldn't play. But if he's thinking about, hey, if they don't make the playoffs or it doesn't look good, I'll fire them. You can't let them start trading away everything. Trade away anything that's if a first round, if a guy has a 1 year left in the deal, trade. But you can't let them trade away assets like Brandon Ayuk or anything like that have long-term assets, because your new guy, you want to let your new guys come in and do that, not the guys that may be kicking them out the door.
Stop trading and letting guys go who are like Buckner and Bourne. And I would put Bourne in the Buckner category in the sense that they don't miss games. You know what you're getting from them. It's no question. And the Niners need to start valuing these kind of players because they like the high variance players, the guys who are good when healthy. You build a whole team of those kind of players, and this is what you get. They would really benefit from having Kendrick Bourne on the freaking team right now. So don't trade away the 24-year-old dude who's never missed a game and plays well in your system so you can bring in Samson Ebukam or whatever you just did. Don't do that. Keep those guys. And Ayuk, keep him. Trade Kittle. The guy who starts missing more games than he plays, those are the ones it's time to go. Let someone else try to work with that because you have a team built on those kind of players. You got to change that. Otherwise, every freaking year is going to be 6-10. You'll have one good year out of 4 where like the planets align and all the players stay healthy.
I'm not a big fan or an advocate of owners stepping into football operations. I think they need to be the guys that sign the check, but I do think there are rare occurrences where it is applicable. I think this might be one of them where you need to protect your asset, which is the 49ers, and then some of the assets that are on this team. And when the biggest one is the quarterback that you just drafted in Trey Lance, because he's no matter who is here, he's ultimately the future. Like whether Kyle coaches him or somebody else. And to me, there's going to come a point where if Kyle keeps sticking with Jimmy Garoppolo, I think Jed York needs to have a meeting and say, you can't play Jimmy this week. It
seems to me that the 49ers, like Kyle is making the future of the franchise look worse every day. Like he's not playing any of the young guys. They don't have a first-round pick next year or the year after that. He's killing Ayuk stock, and Kinlaw's a medical bust. He's losing playing guys in their 30s. What is the hope for the future? It's not like you're losing playing young guys and they're learning valuable lessons and they're getting better. No, it's Josh Norman committing pass interference penalties. It's Drake Kirkpatrick giving up the touchdown. So why should fans be hopeful? It seems to me there's less and less reason to be hopeful every week. And my only question is, why is he so committed to not playing young guys? What is that? I mean, you would think if he was committed to the franchise, he'd be committed to the future. But right now, it's almost like he's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be here next year. So why would I just develop the next coach's players. It's almost, I don't know what's going on, but it's like, dude, you should want to play the young guys. You have a 6-year extension. You, of all people, should want to play the young guys.
He's redshirting this entire rookie class. Now,
how do you justify that? You're 2-4. You can't redshirt rookies when the players you're playing ahead of them are legitimately worse.
Did the whole thing that your tinfoil hat theory with Lance, did they do that with this entire draft class and basically take his power away from drafting? And is that why he won't play these guys? Because he didn't get to pick them?
Maybe. That would make sense.
Because Aaron Banks
like you whiffed on Pettis. You whiffed on Beathard. You whiffed on Joe Williams. We're going to take over. This is going to be you and the position coaches, because the position coaches like to scout too. So you and your guys can start on day 3. But day 1 and 2, that's the front office. And which players aren't playing? The players on day 1 and 2. Which players are playing? Jalen Moore, Elijah Mitchell. Why do they like Elijah Mitchell more than Trey Sermon when there's literally no evidence that supports that Elijah Mitchell is better? I mean, Sermon has good numbers too. Why? Maybe it's because the coaches picked all the players on day 3 and the front office picked them. That's a very interesting theory. Now, this is just a theory, everyone. We're just having fun here, but it does make sense.
Right. So,
wow.
It is kind of weird that the entire rookie class is not really playing.
But we got to wrap this up, though.
Yep, I do think there's a point where New York has to step in and protect Kyle protect the franchise from Kyle and from.
I agree. Because the stuff we're talking about is really, really serious. All right. Final question. Will the Niners beat the Bears? I say this because the Bears freaking suck. Okay. The Bears are scoring 14.4 points per game. 14.4. How do you lose to a team that only scores 14 points a game? They're also they have a good defense. It's rated higher, but they're getting outgained by like 100 yards a game because their offense is so bad. Their head coach probably is worse than Kyle, although I think he has a better record than Kyle. Probably a much better record than Kyle. But anyway, this team sucks. Can the Niners beat this team? That sucks.
They could. I don't know that they will. It's not like Indianapolis was a great team either.
Barely beat the Lions. Barely beat the Eagles.
And both the Niners and the Bears beat the Lions by about the same. I know it doesn't always translate, but the Niners won by 8 and the Bears won by 10. So they're about on the same level. Like, they still have Khalil Mack, right? Like, so this could be a close game. Khalil Mack could sack.
Yeah, but the Niners have Trent Williams. Oh, well, we don't know about that. Yeah, but they got Mike McGlinchey. Oh, but yeah, he's really not good. Okay, well, I see what you're saying there. Here's the thing, though.
They got George Kittle.
And Mostert. Here's the thing, though. Here's my thing with the Niners this year, and really the Niners of the Kyle Shanahan era. I really feel like they can compete with any team. I mean, they competed with the Cardinals 2 weeks ago. They really have talent, and they do in the roster and the coaching staff, but they can also lose to any team because what they do is beat themselves. They lead the league in turnovers since 2017. That's who they are. They lead the league in points allowed off turnovers since 2017. That's who they are. So any given week, they can freaking lose. They almost found a way to lose to the Lions when they were up 41-17, almost lost that game. It's what they do. It's what they do. This is year 5 of them doing it. So will they beat the Bears? I don't know. They might, or they'll beat themselves. They will beat someone in this game. It could be the Bears, it could beat themselves.
You should take that if the 49ers do file Kyle Shanahan, Jordan York should let you come in interviews and to try to sell coaching candidates with that argument. Like, listen, like we could
beat ourselves. We're a good team. Like, we outgained the Cardinals this year and lost. We outgained the Seahawks by 200 yards and lost because Kyle beats himself. It's very similar to the situation that Jim Harbaugh walked into. There's a lot of talent on this roster. No first-round picks, but there's a lot of talent. It's just a team that consistently beats itself. Consistently. All he needs to do is bring a more professional approach to the team. We're not going to beat ourselves this year. They're going to let other teams beat themselves. It's good. It's a good formula in the NFL.
And it ties right back to this game in the Bears, because if I said to you the 49ers are going to beat the Bears 48-6, You could. That's within the realm of possibility.
Bears suck.
Right. But if I said to you, the 49ers
will lose 25-16, I'd be like, yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. Or if I said to you, oh, the 49ers are going to win 21-20. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. All within the realm of possibilities here. Take a few more questions, and then I got to go. Kyle should dress up as a zombie post-game. That's pretty funny. Kyle should, like, speak up. Can they turn up the microphone? Next time he starts doing it, I'll just be like, what? Huh? I'm sorry, huh? Shanny doesn't start Trey because Trey doesn't follow the script. Shan is not in control.
Trey does follow the script. He scrambles, but the biggest thing
about my theory, I like my theory better.
Yeah, here's a good theory, but Trey's not that guy. Like Trey plays really conservative, actually.
He is. He actually tries too hard to follow the Kyle Shanahan script. No, Kyle made a declaration back in April. Mac Jones is ready. He's the starter. Trey Lance could be great. He'll take time. And he's been proven right on Mac Jones. He's not going to prove himself wrong on Trey Lance. He's going to make sure he's right on Trey Lance too, because that's who Kyle is. He's more committed to being right than to winning. Sometimes being right and winning overlap. But when they don't, you have 2021.
Also, do you think that – here's something else for your tinfoil hat theory. Do you think that what he's doing with Ayuk is because he didn't pick Ayuk? Because remember, who coached Ayuk in college?
Herm Edwards.
And who has a relationship with Herm Edwards?
John Lynch from Fox.
Yes.
Oh, I love the next show is just tinfoil hat. From now on, our show is going to be called the Tinfoil Hat Hour, and it's just going to be. I love that. I got to run. Thank you, Coach, for doing this on a Tuesday. My dad will be back on Tuesdays eventually, but I'm meeting up with him right now. We got some family stuff to take care of. So you got real quick, and then we'll go. David Sir says, "What's it going to take for Kyle to be fired and Jimmy to be cut this season?" Because it's going to be rooting for that to happen. Oh, how about a 13-game losing streak like we got in 2016?
13-game losing streak.
The difference between 2016 and this season so far, the Chip Kelly year, is a win week 2.
13 games, or you don't play Lance, or Lance and he
gets hurt, or you RG3 him. Everyone, this has been a really positive, encouraging show, and I appreciate you guys for taking us down. Well, we took you down that road. I'll be back later on today with Jack Hammer doing a little film breakdown. It's going to be late afternoon. I'll see you guys in. Peace.